Hello, hello. Josie here. Are you ready for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And are you sure? Okay, here we go. You know, when God sends people into your life, it can be for a blessing or a lesson. I'm not even going to say that it was a situation. I'm going to say that there was a certain someone this past week that has some issues, some personal mental issues. And this person, when they do not get what they want, even if they have been contradictory, they respond and act in the manner of a child, a problem child even. And if you remember the movie Problem Child, the character, he got into a lot of mischief. He's very mischievous, and he would attack his stepfather or his adopted father. He would attack his adopted father's, potential relationships with women because he didn't want his father to get into a relationship with a woman and then basically forget about him and neglect him and so on and so forth because he was a foster child. The father had to remind his kid that, he chose him, he adopted him, they were a family, and that he was never going to, disappoint Junior or separate from Junior or break up the family for anybody else. Now, the only reason why I brought that up was to speak specifically on problem child. We're all God's children, but some of his children are problem childs. And they need to be not only punished, but they need to learn. That's where the lesson comes in. So God will send his children to deal with his problem children, or to help his problem children, or to call out his problem children, because their behaviors are mischievous, because they may be engaging in wicked behaviors. They might be playing with the devil, running with the devil, so to speak. I just thought of Van Halen. Running with the devil. Engaging in certain behaviors and antics with the devil. Because they're problem children. They have certain issues and mentalities and negative within them. Maybe mental issues, struggles, insecurities, which has pushed them in a way to becoming problem children. And in order for them to come out of it, they have to come around or be around someone that can deal with their brattiness, that can deal with that negativity, and show them that they don't have to engage in those behaviors. They can actually refrain from engaging in certain tactics and behaviors that's displeasing to God. But some of these problem children, they love being problem children. They love being wicked. They love being negative. They love running with the devil. They enjoy the pleasure that they derive off of the suffering and pain that they cause on others. So also when God sends in his chosen children, to confront these people in a way. It is a test. And if these people do not pass the test, that judgment from God, especially concerning us, His chosen children, is going to be a little bit more harsh and a lot more fierce. Because He knows the hearts and intentions of His chosen children. So when He sends us into places, spaces, around certain individuals, it's to offer them a choice. It's to offer them a choice. And if they make the wrong choice in their dealings with us, like I said, it's a test. You know those old school teachers, and may still do it today, when you would have a test, they'd grade the test with a red pen. And usually the red pen would be to mark and or highlight areas that they messed up and that they need to correct and fix. Well, I tell you that on some of these people's tests, some of these problem children's test, the page is covered in red ink. But when someone gets A plus or even a B or an A, you know how it's usually like in black ink? There's still red marks where there were some mistakes made, but it's not covered entirely in red. Just the areas that need attention. A lot of these problem children have areas that need attention, that need correction. And if they have not made the corrections by a certain time in their life, especially if they've been tested quite a few times, and it also is based on, your age. Because some of these tests, yes, end of life. Do they get an extension? Or is it time for them to, for a lot of these individuals, it's time for them to go. They have been given test after test after test after test after test, and they have failed. And they have not felt any kind of way about failing the test. For some of these people, they know they're being tested, and they still choose to fail the test because they're such a problem child. If you keep failing the test, and you're intentionally doing so, you're not willing to make any changes, you're not willing to learn from your mistakes, rather you just keep making the same ones and adding on to them, you're basically saying, yeah, you want to run with the devil. So you will be given over to the devil in a reprobated mind. That's all. That's all I have today. That's all I have for this video. I pray you got something out of it. The main thing is these tests are serious. We are sent into people's lives as a blessing or a lesson. And if you're supposed to be a blessing to one of God's chosen children, and you choose to try to teach them a lesson, and they've already passed test, that's a mark against you. And it's not a good mark. Gotta go. Bye.